Okay, hi everybody. I just wanted to show you how I draw. And well, right now I'm drawing with the mouse because I'm really lazy. I can use a stylus on my pad, but the pad is its own monitor. So a lot of times I just go on my main screen, and I just use the mouse because I don't know, it's more comfortable. Because the pad, I had to hold the pad. Actually, I could, I need to get like a what's it called? A canvas or whatever those things are to hold a portrait. Then I can I guess I could draw on that, but. Yeah, it's just hard to have two screens. I don't know how to work that. I'll have to figure that out. But for now, I just do this because it's just more comfortable, and it's more, I don't know. Yeah, it's just comfortable. And if the drawing doesn't come out as detailed, this is like, you see, there's no shading really. I kind of like this. There's no shading. I'm just kind of drawing these lines, and I wanted to make a little video about this because I don't know, maybe some people think I'm doing AI or something, but I'm not. So although you're free to believe that if you want to. I mean, people believe whatever they want, and that's okay. So but I just wanted to show what I do for drawing. And of course, this is MS Paint, by the way. I know you can't see it because the screen is really wide. Let me see if I can do this. Oops. Here. Put this over here. So. Yep. See. Oh yeah. See, you can see. That's. It's MS Paint. I just wanted to show you that because that's what what I'm using. Let's put it in the screen actually. Oh, here, let me do this. Select. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Can I put this over here? Yeah, I can. Okay. Great. So now you see it's MS Paint because I don't no reason. I don't need to buy a fancy program. MS Paint is fine. It works for what I want, and it's good. So there you go. Simple as that, really. That simple. Okay. Anyway, I was listening to Donald Trump talking, and I do agree that we need to compromise with Russia. I think that's diplomatic, and we shouldn't be just giving money to countries because they're sad. We have a lot of problems in America we need to solve. So that's what I think. Anyway, let's see. Let me see here. Let's okay. Okay, I'm gonna listen to this while I'm working.
He's doing a great job. He's doing
That's
a fantastic
that guy.
job. Brought it back from oblivion.
He did a crypto thing.
Yeah, well, look at things. We're looking
He
at
gave
the
the
UK
Elon
with
a
things. It doesn't
chainsaw.
have to be tariffs, but
It's a crypto
tariffs
country.
are easy, they're fast, they're efficient,
Drug president.
and they bring fairness. For instance, when people kill their dollar, their equivalent of the dollar, whether it's the won or the yen in Japan or the won in China, when they drop them down, that puts us at a very unfair disadvantage. So all I have to do is say, Howard, we're going to have to raise the tariffs a little bit because I've called President Xi, I've called the leaders of Japan. to say you can't continue to reduce and break down your currency. You can't do it because it's unfair to us. It's very hard for us to make tractors, Caterpillar, here when Japan, China, and other places are killing their currency, meaning driving it down.
Yeah,
so all of these things add up. And the way you solve it very easily is with tariffs, because when they do that, instead of having to make phone calls every day like I used to do with certain leaders, President Xi a little bit, a lot of phone calls, talking about the fact that they're lowering their yuan, they're lowering it down, and that makes it very, very hard for us. So this way I just say, look, let them do that, and we make up for it with the tariffs. But
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum about her?
Yeah, sure, I will. I have a lot of respect for her. Are you
Mr. President, takes effect. It'll be 20% on China now. How high are you willing to go against China?
Well, I can't
Does
say.
this
It
affect,
depends on what they do with their currency.
like,
it depends on what they do
like
in terms
Genshin
of
Impact?
retaliation
Yep, sure
with some
does.
kind of an economic retaliation, which I don't
I
think
bet
is
it
gonna
does.
retaliate too much. Hey, look, the United States has
All
been
the
taken
Chinese
advantage
games.
of
Oh, yeah.
for 40 years. The United States has been a laughingstock for years and years. That's why this
Nobody
weapon
knows.
is built in Taiwan instead of building here. It would have been better if he built here. If we had a president that knew what they were doing, and we had a lot of them very bad on trade.
That's right.
Look, I'm a huge fan of Ronald Reagan, but he was bad on trade.
He was
very
bad.
on trade.
He was bad.
He allowed a lot of people, a lot
Ronald
of
Reagan was bad at a lot of
so
things.
I say that with due respect
That's for
because
sure.
he was so great on other things, but he was bad on trade. We are setting records right now, records like nobody has ever seen before.
Wow.
When you
Never
have
in the
companies like
history
this
of
coming in,
mankind.
and almost 40% of their company in one signature is going to be devoted to what he does, which is one of the most important businesses in the world. That's an unbelievable thing. When Apple now is going to start building all of their plants here,
Yeah.
all because of what we've done.
Well, what about the
in
child
terms of-
laborers? What are
it's
they
not
going to
because
do?
he likes
Yeah,
me or
we
they
need
like
child
me. They
laboring.
don't probably
They
like
have to go
me
back
at
to
all.
school?
I don't know. I think
No,
he likes me a
no.
little bit at least. But you know what? It's the incentive we created, or the negative incentive.
There you
I mean,
go.
it's going to be very costly for people to take advantage of this country. They can't come in and steal our money and steal our jobs and take our factories and take our businesses and expect not to be punished. And they're being punished by tariffs. It's a very powerful weapon that politicians haven't used because they were either dishonest, stupid, or paid off in some other
Or
form.
homosexual.
And now we're
Wait.
using them.
Damn.
Have you spoken with President Xi about this
I don't
term?
want to tell you that. Thank you very much, everybody.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Trump. I love that. I love that Trump. He just
People who don't respond to the
Dude,
emails be fired.
He's so happy.
it's so great.
Oh, man. That's so
wonderful.
funny.
It is.
Wow. He's like, yeah. You guys are being played, are we? I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean, like
dancing.
25 million jobs seems like a good thing. Oh, get out of here, Baldy. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. What the hell are you doing in here? Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, old ass man. What the fuck? Yeah, did Apple say it was take these minimum a decade to get shit started in the USA? I don't know if they did or not, but it seems like that's not the case. So yeah, there you go. The caveman and audio engineers are embarrassing. Yeah, I know. That's
True.
the guy that's doing pictures, though. We can't get mad at him. And so, wow. So we got more chips here in America. That's right. That's the way it should be. Thank God. I'm glad. And yeah, holy shit. It's good. I'm happy. And what else could you really say, right? Hire me and do audio. Honestly, they could hire anybody. They could hire a crackhead do audio. It'd be better than that. It's just been bad overall. And man, I want to move to the U.S. You do? You want to move here? You can't. You can't. That's it. There's no more. There's no more people allowed here unless you're a hot girl. Like that's like a special. Trump needs to have an exception. Like call it the tens policy. You know. And you know, like, and so if they're hot, then like maybe you can let them in, but otherwise probably not, right?
The Offspring.
Council.
Supercharged.
No offspring. No. We don't want that. Okay, let's see. Wait, was that the end? I think it was. Yeah, it was the end. Let's see. What else we got here? Oh yeah, let's see.
So apparently, this mineral deal, against all odds, is gonna happen.
And let's start right here.
We'll see.
Things on Friday, Ukrainian President Zelensky now says, "Hey, I'm ready to sign that minerals deal with the United States." This, despite his heated confrontation.
Why'd they give him?
Okay.
Hey, it's the content president.
Sure is. Oh, that's right.
They have a wrestling belt on.
They do. They have a wrestling
And I'm sure
belt.
you saw it with President Trump and Vice President Vance in the Oval Office on Friday afternoon.
Madeline Rivera is live in Washington with the latest for us. Hey, Maddie.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Hey,
yeah,
Maddie.
despite that spat with President Trump at the Oval
good to
Office
see
on
you
Friday,
again.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he remains confident that he thinks his
Everybody
relationship.
acts like that shit's a big deal. Like, it's not a big deal. People get in arguments like that all the time. It's not like, I bet probably privately it's like way worse than that.
Oh shoot.
It's like not good that it was public, but on like a personal, emotional level with them, they probably don't give a fuck.
With the United States and with President Trump can be repaired, and like you said, Steve, he is still confident and optimistic that they can reach a mineral.
We can never repair a relationship. It's not possible. You can't do that.
Administration officials say security guarantees are contingent on a peace deal, and they don't even know if peace is possible at this point. That's why they say they're trying to get Russian President Vladimir Putin to the negotiating table.
President Zelensky has thrown off the sequencing. And Margaret, let me tell you the most tragic part of this. The President Trump's idea for this economic arrangement was to further intertwine the American people and the Ukrainian people and show no daylight.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says a minerals deal is currently off the table. To get it back on track, some Republicans and U.S. officials say a major reset is necessary, and they argue that task falls on Zelensky.
Something has to change. Either he needs to come to his senses and come back to the table in gratitude, or someone else needs to lead the country to do that. I mean, it's up to the Ukrainians to figure that out.
That's right.
European leaders are grappling with the fallout after holding a summit with other European leaders in London over the weekend. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced the outlines of a plan to end the war. The Associated Press reports the proposal would keep aid flowing to Ukraine and continue to arm them from any future Russian invasion. Starmer reportedly says the UK is ready to put boots on the ground and planes in the air.
That's crazy that they're actually going to send troops over to Ukraine. Like, I believe that when I see it. That's nuts.
Yep.
Yeah, is that World War III? I mean, maybe. Like,
why would they do that?
World War III, to be honest.
Why would Europe?
Like, unless they start attacking Russia,
Europe is just really stupid. Very stupid people. Stupid idiots. They used to be. They seem so smart.
Europe must do the heavy lifting.
But they're really stupid. They have no freedom of speech. They're just idiots. But most people are, so it makes sense.
Getting a degree is important to me because I feel like I'm setting myself up for future success. The more I can learn and grow.
Blah blah blah.
French President Emmanuel Macron spoke to another French outlet where he suggested
let's see. Maybe more
square. Truce may be possible in Ukraine, and he said troops could be deployed at a later stage.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
So, Maddie, when he left Washington on Friday, he said, I was not ready to sign that deal. 48 hours later, I'm ready to sign that deal, right?
He's ready.
Well, yeah. Yeah, fucking obviously, right?
That's right.
Like, I mean, that makes sense. What a surprise. Yeah. No, I mean, of course that's what's going to happen, because the thing is that he did not say that. He never said that. Well, we'll see. Not until we see it. That's a good point. I wouldn't be surprised if he came back and did it, though. I'll tell you that.
You know, we saw documents of this deal on Friday. Our Jackie Heinrich sent it out, but they were not signed. Of course, that means nothing was completely agreed to. But look, obviously, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, he was told reportedly by some of his advisors about how to approach the president here. And clearly he did not follow that suggested approach. Now he says he's ready to sign the minerals deal. We will see if that is going to be happening at all.
Thanks, Maddie. He was going to sign the deal if they got through the press conference. That's all he had to do was get through the press conference. The whole thing was
Don't
done.
take the bait.
It wasn't going to be. He wouldn't have shown up if he wasn't going to sign the deal. So that was a done deal. So as Jack Keane brought up, who might be his biggest supporter in terms of who he blames in Mark Thiessen's column today, he said Jack Keane says the only answer to anyone else.
I'm the one making it.
The only offices. The only answer to the question is, thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to work with you to achieve a peaceful end to this war.
But yeah, I do in a way. Yes, I do.
He's literally at war for 3 years. We know
no, they're trying to. They don't like. The thing is that he trying to argue this from a position of equality. He not equal to the United States. He not equal to Russia either.
Nope, Zelensky
like you gotta
is
take
not.
what you can get,
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
it shouldn't be that way, but I think it is.
Yep.
And like so, like I don't know how do you do that in like, you know, because like he doesn't want to look bad in front of like his people too. Like I'm not sure like how to handle that. Like it's a bad situation that he's in. This thanking rhetoric is bullshit. It isn't. It is bullshit, and it's not bullshit. It's the reason why they want him to do that is because it probably means that basically this is what I think. Like I don't think that Russia is going to want to do anything when they have this guy calling him a murderer and fucking war criminals and saying like Russia is terrible and shit like this,
Exactly.
right? Like they're not going to want to do and negotiate while he's doing that.
Right.
And so if he keeps doing that, then the chances of negotiations go really, really far down. Like whether it's true or not, they still go down. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter what's true. They don't want either. Yeah, exactly. And they want Zelensky to follow the lead. Are you not sure if Zelensky's grateful? I think he is. I think he's very grateful to the United States. I think absolutely he is. And I feel like the premise of this is a little bit
I don't know
silly,
if he is or not.
But they are
Probably,
trying
though.
to basically just get him in
I don't
line.
know if it's genuine.
They come back from war after 6 months. They're not.
I have him not talk shit.
Zelensky seems very weird.
But he goes to the front lines every day.
But he says he's
20,000
thankful. So
kids
there
that
you
were
go.
stolen. He knows those parents. They're sitting there in Russia. He knows most of the maybe 600,000 troops or 500,000 troops that are no longer on the battlefield, dead or wounded. But his stress is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But why an aide next to him says, hey, let's not, maybe this isn't a good time to show up. He didn't have to show up to that. He could have had that, they could have signed it, sent it, it could have been done. And all the pressure would have been on Russia because all indications are Russia doesn't want to sit down and do anything. What their early demands were are a non-starter.
Well, he was told to show up at the White House in a suit and tie. It was specific.
Yeah, if they told him to do that, he didn't do that. He in a situation where he should have done that.
That's
like,
right.
The thing is that, Asman, you don't know what you're talking about, do you? What do I not know what I'm talking about? Because you're a consistent disagreeers, right? And so what are you unhappy about that I'm saying? And so Zelensky, no, the thing is that if you have these people that are going to give you a bunch of money and they have they have the ability to solve your problem, I would show up in a suit. I would. At the end of the day, right? It's like, because at a certain point, you've got to put your pride aside. You've got to do what's going to work for you.
That's right.
I want you to describe how he's grateful based off his actions.
Listen, paying $14.99 a month for a streaming app and $9.99 a month for a music app.
Mr. President, with respect.
Thank you. Americans' leadership remains solid.
Thank you.
Thank you. All this for our great people. Thank you so much.
And I think every American, every in the world who is helping for every life saved in Ukraine.
Oh, that's
all my appreciation from all my heart, from the heart of Ukrainians, all Ukrainians, from our nation, strong nations, all the appreciation to you, first of all, Mr. President, for your big support.
And I want to thank all Americans, each and every one, leaders and ordinary people who see this reality. How are we doing? Who know how important it is to protect freedom now. who support Ukraine. We are grateful to President Biden, to both parties and houses of Congress, and to every state that is involved in one way or another in protecting freedom.
Хочу подякувати пану президенту за цей його візит, за переговори, дійсно корисні. Дякую також від імені усіх українців, усім американцям, звичайно.
So don't you think you should maybe shut the fuck up and figure it out for yourself before you go around talking shit to me?
That's right.
What do you think about that? This video is not even halfway over, and I didn't start it from the beginning, and you still got here. Now you roaching out over some shit you're talking, making some bullshit up that didn't even happen. Trying to insult me and tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. Why don't you educate yourself first?
Right.
You're right, he's grateful, I guess. It's fine, right? It's just, again, like...
The White House, according to Axios yesterday.
That's true.
He was told show up in a necktie. He was told by Lindsey Graham before the blow up, hey, don't take the bait. If the president says something that you disagree with, don't.
It's got to be something, though, like, for real, whenever you think about it, the fact that he thought that, isn't that worth mentioning? Isn't that worth thinking about? That's what I was talking about, how echo chambers happen. And this is the important thing. That's why I didn't ban him. Changing your mind based off of new information isn't being stupid, it's being smart.
Yeah.
I don't have anything negative to say about that. Not everybody gonna know everything about everything. But the best thing that you can do is when you find something new out, you integrate that into your worldview in a healthy way. Why would I, like, because if the thing is, if you get banned, even whenever you're like, oh, I get it now, I didn't understand, then what reason would you ever have to ever capitulate? What reason would you ever have to be reasonable if you know that every outcome will be negative?
Right, true.
It's illogical and it doesn't create the result and the action that I want to see.
Exactly.
So why would I do that?
Well, I do this.
Blow up. I heard
basically everything I do with regards to art doesn't do anything, but I do feel good, so I do it.
Until Zelensky absolutely apologizes for what he did the other day.
So I've reached out to one of my sources in the administration, and this was on background before, but I said, can I share this because I was there 2 days before at the White House, and they were working the deal, and they said, fine, share it. They were going back and forth about this deal with Mike Waltz as well as Marco Rubio. Now, you got to understand the dynamics that were working. First of all, he skipped the meeting with Scott Bessent when he went over to Ukraine.
Slept through
the meeting. And then Marco Rubio and the vice president, they come up with this deal with Zelensky, and he says, okay, I'm going to just go to the parliament to get it signed off on. Then he goes publicly and goes against the deal. So the administration was already on edge, but the president was still saying, let's get the deal done. So to Steve's point, he has this congressional meetup, and Lindsey Graham, to your point, says, don't blow up, go out to be grateful, be thankful, and you go do it this way.
Wear a suit.
Wear a suit. He goes there, Ainsley, and does the exact opposite of all the advice that he was given, and he tries to litigate his case before the media.
Yeah, he should have worn a suit.
It's not that hard.
Like, if they told him to wear a suit, he should have worn a suit. No, he should not. Why not? Solidarity with your soldiers? What do you think the soldiers are going to care more about the war getting ended and having the United States be on their side more? Or are they going to care about him, what he's wearing? Come on. They care about keeping getting killed or what he's wearing?
Any reasonable person would say
it's a stupid request. And that's exactly why he should have done it. The fact is that it's an unreasonable, weird request that doesn't matter a whole lot. It's patronizing. It is. But the thing is that when you are in charge of something, especially people's lives, your ego needs to not exist. You can't make decisions and do things because of the way that it makes you feel or what you think.
Exactly.
That's it. You can't do that. When you do that, you lose. Such a dumb argument. It is patronizing. It is. But he is in a position to be patronized because the United States are the ones that have the money that are funding them. And the United States have been giving them a bunch of money, and they will continue giving them a bunch of money. He is in that position. We are their patron. He's being patronized because we are patronizing that country by sending them billions of dollars of aid. And I know a lot of people think that's not fair. That's not the way that should be. You could be right. You could be right about all that. But at the end of the day, the only thing that I look at, like this is what I said before, right? Only do what is in your best interest.
That's right.
Don't think about ego. Don't think about how something looks. Look at what is the best outcome. How can I move towards achieving this best outcome? That's it. Everything else is noise.
That's right.
And if you don't understand that, you're going to have a lot of problems in life.
That's right.
It's the message you're sending, like in most other jobs interview, you wear a suit? Yeah. No, you do. Last time you were on Zelensky's, you said J.D. Vance was being aggressive. I mean, I like this new side. I agree with it, but why'd you change your mind? Well, it's simple. I changed my mind on it because I heard that they told him to wear a suit. If he wasn't told to wear a suit, then I would have had no problem with him not wearing a suit. But if they told him to wear a suit, he should have worn a suit.
That's right.
That's new information, so it changes the way that I look at it. Is that hard to understand? When you got people giving you billions of dollars and they say jump, you say how high.
Exactly.
That's bullshit? That's fine. That's bullshit. That's bullshit sounds like... That's a great tweet. That's a great Reddit post.
Yep.
That's a great thing that you tell yourself while you're in the shower thinking about a conversation that you had 4 years ago. But it's not effective. And that's what my point is. But still, man, it's just an attire. Exactly. So then do it. Exactly. Fucking exactly.
Exactly. Just do it.
That's my whole point.
Why is it so hard?
You have a disgusting take on this? I'll pull up one person.
Well, that's why I think Zelensky
I'm gonna go ahead.
very arrogant. I think he's
see that
in over his head. He thinks
the
he's
thought never even crossed the American mind. So the stupid guy brought it up. He never said anything. He'd be
full
talking
of
about
himself. That's what I think.
You see, no. This actually, you know what? This one's not even worth talking about because Zelensky not wearing a suit has been a point of contention for 2 years. Like you're just like the entire premise of your argument is wrong. It's not even worth looking at or thinking about. Yeah, it's just you're mad about something that didn't even happen.
Way over there.
He wants to support. It doesn't hurt him to wear a suit. When he was asked, he should have worn it. Yeah, people are arguing with you about this. It just shows you his men's age. There's a lot of young men that one of the most important things for them is pride, and it's about their image and the way that they look. And for a lot of young men, especially people that don't have established egos and they don't have a lot of things on their own, they are really like being told what to do is the last thing they want to deal with, right?
Yeah,
Trump
they do that.
Trump is very prideful. He is, but he's the one in control. So you have to play on his side. That's the way it works. You ever had an asshole boss, but you still got to say, thank you, sir. Your suit looks nice, sir. Good job, sir. Funny joke, sir. Absolutely. Suck it the fuck up and deal with it. You're making decisions for millions of people. It's not about you.
That's right.
Make the right decision for the most people. That's the way I see it. And if they told him to do that, he should have done it.
Absolutely.
That's it. And also, by the way, I pray that you are never in a situation with a person like that is willing to put your security, your quality of life, or your safety on the line to maintain their own pride. It's a very bad position to be in.
And it happens all the time.
It's amazing that we have helped them so much, given them so many resources, so much money, so much equipment, and that is the way he was treating our president and J.D. Vance in the Oval Office.
He wants war.
He's saying he told the BBC he's still willing to have a constructive dialogue with the United States. He said, I just want the Ukrainian position to be heard. We want our partners to remember who the aggressor is in this war. Here is Secretary Marco Rubio.
I really am puzzled why anyone thinks that trying to be a peacemaker is a bad thing. It's only a bad thing when it's Donald Trump trying to do it. I would ask everybody this. If there are no negotiations, what is the alternative? Another 4 years of war, another 3 years of war in which the United States and Europe continues to pour billions of dollars into a war in Ukraine? Is that the alternative? I've asked every foreign minister I meet with, tell me your idea of how this turns out. Most don't have a plan. A few have said, well, let's give them another year of fighting. A year from now, a year later, after another year of death, another year of destruction, then maybe Putin will be ready to negotiate at that point. No one here is claiming Vladimir Putin is going to get the Nobel Peace Prize this year, or that he should be the man of the year of the Humanitarian Association. What we're arguing here is he has a very large country.
Yeah, they think Putin's a piece of shit too. But they just know that saying it about him is going to cause the negotiations to go downhill. That's it. They know he's a piece of shit. Everybody knows he's a piece of shit. Yeah, everybody knows that. Like,
they're in full war footing. They're cranking out weapons now at a war footing pace. And we need to figure out, is there a way to get them to stop the war? And the only way you're going to do that is to get Russians engaged in negotiations.
After hearing that, Chris Van Hollen, who's just off the hook on Gaza, he's against the Israelis and anything that Donald Trump's doing. He says he regrets his supporting Marco Rubio for Secretary of State. So does he understand? Number one, Marco Rubio was sitting right there. No one told Marco Rubio what to say there. No. Number two is the Russians are losing.
It's very clear that the problem why I think they're mad is because things that happen publicly are not what happen privately. And so it's actually a very personal reason why people are getting pissed off about this topic. It's got nothing else to do besides other stuff.
1,000 troops a day.
Yeah.
If you read the New York Post today, they interviewed 25 people standing in Ukrainian prisons. Nobody knew what they were fighting for. They all were there because they were threatening their families or that they had absolutely no money and they promised to pay their families if they got killed. They're literally doing human sacrifices. So there's a chance that the Russians might be, well, we're great at misreading the Russians when they were the Soviets too. There's a chance that they might be hollowed out and might be ready. And let's just put the ball in their court. Everyone in Ukraine, just sign this deal, put it in the Russians' court. And if they are going to insist on elections, more land, not returning the children, and knocking a million-man force to 85,000, everyone will know they're not sincere.
Yeah, but Zelensky doesn't want to do it. And I think that's the problem right now. He's showboating. He went over to the EU and tried to get all of their support in the sense of to put pressure on the president. Right. And then you got the PM as well as the ambassador, the UK ambassador to the United States say, okay, we're going to be there with you, but we still need the United States. And so I think there's a major miscalculation from Zelensky's part. He still wants to fight this war. It's unwinnable. More people will die as a result of it. And the president's saying, like he said in the Oval, I want you to be more on our side. The president said, I can't get a negotiation. I have to be.
Yeah, Trump can't be on Zelensky's side. He can't be on Zelensky's side and solve the problem. You can do one or the other. You can't do both.
Right.
In the middle. But I'm signing a minerals deal with you. That is your strategic support. But that's not enough for Zelensky right now.
That's right. Netanyahu has to deal with his right wing. He's got a right wing. And there's a right wing of Zelensky that says you better not agree to stop fighting. They invaded us. They killed our families. They're destroying our infrastructure.
Yeah, of course.
We're doing damage. Well, so he can't just, he is not a dictator.
And it's still,
he is still dealing with a democracy and a parliament.
It's still unclear, though, if Vladimir Putin will agree to a deal.
Oh,
That's my point.
Well, here's the thing. Yesterday, the foreign minister of Russia, Lavrov, said that he saluted Donald Trump's common sense on the issue, even though they don't align on everything. And also, the foreign minister spokesperson said that what happened in the Oval Office was a miracle of restraint, they said, the Russians did, that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance did not punch Zelensky in the nose, essentially,
will he address
because
this
of
tomorrow
all
night?
that.
Yep. And so I'm thinking that's really That's right where I'm at. Yeah, the Russians aren't being asked for any concessions. The Ukrainians aren't being given any security guarantees. What reason would Russia have to stop? Because Russia would probably get some of the land from Ukraine, and they'd probably get some money out of it. That's the reason, right? That's probably what's going to happen. I feel like that's the way it would resolve.
All right, let's do this.
Yeah, and after that, I don't know. Just do it again in 5 years. You can't do that. You can't give them anything if you hope for peace. What's next? I don't know. But my point is that the thing is that, like, with Ukraine being involved in this, there's two separate things. There's what should Ukraine do and what should the United States. So reward their transgressions. A lot of people get fixated around the concept around being right and wrong.
Lost meme.
And that's not the right way to look at things. It's naive. Yeah, it's just naive. Like, the fact is that Russia is more powerful. Isn't it interesting that every single time in history the good guys win?
I don't know.
What are the odds? What are the odds? Wow, what a surprise. Interesting. Yeah, so interesting. This is just how it is. Russia's not so powerful. They're not whenever we are arming Ukraine and they're being armed by a bunch of other people. But if we stop arming them and we stop supporting them, then are they going to be able to push back Russia? I would say probably not, right? I would say definitely not.
Yeah.
And so the fact is that it is on us, and it basically is our decision on what to happen. Like, that's the truth. They lose immediately without our weapons and support? Yeah, exactly. And they don't understand that Putin needs to be appeased for this to work. I think that he can't get out of it without getting something out of it, right? The issue is also kind of U.S. withdrawing support has broken any agreement with Ukraine at the cost of Ukraine dismantling their nuclear arsenal, though. Yeah, but the thing is that Ukraine dismantling their nuclear arsenal in like 1994, it's got nothing to do with now. That's not... The thing is, like, they're not going to make decisions based off of that now. That's not what's going to happen. It does? No, see, like, again, people a lot... This is... This is the way I look at things. And agreements are for nothing? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. They are. And if you go back in history, you're going to find all of history is littered with broken agreements. Everything. It's all littered. So many broken agreements. All the time that happens. Times change. Yeah, exactly. And so the fact is that the only thing that matters is who has power, who has the ability to exercise that power, and to what extent can they exercise that power. That is what matters. Everything else doesn't matter. Like the ideology, who's right, who's wrong, who did it first, who should be rewarded, everything like that's all bullshit. None of that's real. What's real is the ability to exercise force on somebody else and kill them. And if they can kill you, it doesn't matter if you're right when you're dead. And that's it. And that's the point that I'm making.
Finding where you fit. LinkedIn knows how.
Good. All right. Well, there you go. I think you get the idea. This is all drawn. Did the mouse. And so hope that answers all your questions. I'm sure it does, because I answered all the questions. But if you have any more questions, then feel free to put the comment, and then I'll answer it as soon as I can. There's a lot of comments, a lot of subscribers, so anyway, let me know. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna try to finish this right now. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything I can put in the background here. Let's see. See if there's anything new from Trump. I don't know, not one of those.
We're not.
Actually, I'm going to go to my history. And I'm going to go to Elon Musk, I think. Elon. Here it is.
But we're pretty close to achieving full and rapid reusability of the booster. The ship we're
they talked about I don't remember what part, but they talked about how people who have who hate Trump and hate everything on that goes against this whole idea of equality and kindness and love, they act like it's bad and you have to hate that. But the problem is that if you hate anything that goes against the whole equality movement, then you're immediately a hypocrite, because equality means you're okay with people who disagree with you. So, and this is what happens. He talks about how Trump, as soon as he aligned with Trump, then people started attacking him. And they act like they're, I mean, and it's kind of humorous in a way, even though it's also violent. But one of the humorous ways is, if they're not being violent, is that they keep saying things that aren't true about Trump, about people who like Trump. It's just, it's so weird to deal with people who can't understand that they're complete hypocrites, and then they just keep being assholes to everyone. And because they don't want to do what you're telling them to do, because you're not, in order to be reasonable with people, you have to allow people to believe what they want to believe. If you can't do that, then people aren't going to like you at some point. Now, in certain circumstances, well, it's okay. It works out. Certain people can just keep saying things bad, and it's okay, I think women can do that. Certain women can do that. Certain celebrities can do that. But if you're not well liked, then you're just going to be immediately hated by people because they think that Trump is evil and racist. But anyway, let me go back to the.
I think we'll achieve reusability of the ship this year, and I think we'll achieve rapid reusability of the whole stack, ship and booster, next year. This is the fundamental breakthrough required for life to become multiplanetary.
And what needs to improve in order to make it reusable? Like, what's wrong with it right now?
On the ship side, the toughest problem is the heat shield. So no one has ever developed a fully reusable orbital heat shield. Because when you come in from orbital velocity, you come in like a flaming meteor, like you're just a raging ball of fire, and it's hard to have a heat shield that doesn't partially melt or get destroyed in that process. That wasn't a problem we were able to solve with Falcon 9. That's why the upper stage it burns up on reentry. With Starship, the ship portion, you got the booster and you got the ship. We got to solve making a fully reusable orbital heat shield, a problem that has never been solved before. For a while there, I was like, I'm not sure this is solvable. At this point, I think it is solvable. It requires detailed iteration on the heat shield tiles. And we've vertically integrated the manufacturing of the heat shield tiles because there was no supplier that could provide us with the materials that were needed. So you need to make essentially this very fine vermicelli of glass and aluminum oxide fibers. Aluminum oxide is basically sapphire. So it's like glass and sapphire, very fine fibers in exactly the right geometry.
Almost.
With special coatings, in order to have this heat shield tile be reusable, like not melt, but not be so brittle that it gets damaged on ascent or descent. Like it can't be as, it's kind of like almost the brittleness of a coffee cup type of thing. And the rocket's shaking like hell. So you got this thing like, you saw it firsthand. Like imagine you're at ground zero of that rocket. Like you feel how much shaking it was when you're like 5 miles away.
Yeah, pretty good.
Imagine if you're right there, Right so you're shaking these things that are like as brittle as a coffee cup, trying not to have them crack or break. And then not have them melt. You've got several thousand of these things. And if even a few of them break, it's not reusable.
So is there innovation that's being done in the materials technology at SpaceX where you're constantly trying to find and tweak a better version of this?
Yes.
Did you know that despite its name, the Working Families Tax Credit is also for individuals or couples who meet eligibility criteria?
I didn't know that.
You can apply now for the 2024 tax.
Wow. Didn't know that.
It's a very difficult problem. No, it's a problem no one has ever solved. So we've got to get the exact right materials combination, the right molecules in the right shape, and then apply that heat shield perfectly to the rocket with no mistakes. There's a reason that no one solved this before. It's a very difficult problem. So, and like I said, we've had to vertically integrate the entire manufacturing of the tile from basic raw materials to a finished tile. Build the entire supply chain from basic raw materials.
Wow.
So you're just inputting silicon and aluminum oxides.
And what is the difference between the way you guys do it versus the way they used to do it for the space shuttle?
Well, I mean, the space shuttle, like the space shuttle leading edge, used like quite dense carbon tiles. Like it was, they're like basically thick and heavy, but also subject to cracking. That's like what happens. The foam broke off and it hit the tile, cracked the tile. Then on entry, the tiles that have been cracked or broken weren't able to shield the shuttle, and so the plasma got in and melted the primary structure, and the whole space shuttle broke apart.
Man.
Yeah.
So you can't have something that's as brittle, brittle like the space shuttle.
There's footage of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it rained debris over the whole United States. So and they got almost all the pieces. The full technical explanation would I think be understood by about 6 people listening to this. There was a lot of brilliant engineering in the space shuttle tiles, and a bunch of the heat shielding wasn't even tiles. It was actually silica blankets, like felt blankets essentially. If you look closely, you'll see it actually is. They're actually heat blankets, not tiles in some areas. But they would have cracked tiles, and they would have occasionally the tiles would fall off. There were a few close calls where tiles fell off, but they weren't in a super vulnerable position on the space shuttle. But it would take them several months, like 8-9 months, to refurbish a space shuttle between each flight. So it was not reusable, really, and it certainly wasn't rapid. So, like I said, a very hard problem. You've got to have you've also got to attach the tiles in a way that enables the structure underneath to move, to expand and contract. even though you've got these very rigid tiles.
Wow, that is tough.
So, like the tanks, which take on cryogenic propellant, will contract when you put in the cryogenic propellant, but then when you come in and you get very hot, they will expand.
Oh boy.
So now you're expanding you're contracting and expanding the gap between these rigid tiles.
For how much?
It varies depending on where you are on the vehicle. So if you're in the cryogenic tank section, like I mean, you can see like a 10-20% difference in the gap.
Really?
It's pretty significant. Yeah. It's enough that you can't just put all the tiles. You can't just jam the tiles together. If you put them if you actually butted them up, they would all crack, because there's too much movement. There's also some amount of body bending. So as the ship is like ascending, when the engines steer, there's a little bit of movement. And so if the tiles are too close together, they'll essentially just crack and snap.
Like
you have to have a gap.
Like how planes.
Yeah, like plane wing will move.
Yeah.
Plane body will move too.
Wow. And
so you have to have some gap, but if you have too much of a gap, then the heat gets to the gets past the tile and melts the structure.
Holy shit.
It's a hard problem.
And how large are these tiles?
I mean, they're like that big.
That's it.
Well, they're not all exactly the same size, but yeah, we're sort of a hexagonal tile.
And they have to essentially be, you can't like 3D print the whole thing. You can't have one structure. It has to be tiles, because it has to have that ability to move.
Well, there's no 3D printer that's, I mean, the biggest ones are like maybe 3 feet, So there's no, you can't 3D print it. And nor would you have to have something that can move.
Right.
It has to be able to flex. Like I said, you got expansion and contraction. You really dry, like you're putting in liquid oxygen, which is like minus 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Actually, we subcool it to minus 330 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's very cold, and then it will be several hundred degrees, maybe 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit potentially, when on reentry. So you get this huge temperature swing.
It's good.
So the thermal expansion is substantial, and the whole and you got thermal expansion and contraction combined with body bending. So you have to take the worst case body bending and thermal expansion contraction. This was a very hard problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Delicate balance.
But you're confident that you guys are going to be able to crack it?
At this point, I'm confident that it is solvable, yeah.
Okay. Well.
It just needs a certain amount of versions of it. That's why
Okay, well, I hope that was interesting. I might color this, I'm not sure. But I kind of like it this way, so I might just leave it this way. Anyway, you'll see this later. In this way or another way. So take care, and I hope you enjoyed the drawing. I'm sure you did.